Welcome to Timeout, a podcast that brings creatives together for helpful and insightful discussions. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hey, how's it
What's
going,
going on,
bro?
bro?
I'm
Oh,
good,
good.
man. I'm so excited to have you back on my podcast, which I've not been on for ages. And
Oh, mate,
you,
I'm happy to. We've been talking about this for a long time, so I'm happy to be
yeah,
here finally, bro. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And
Yeah,
guys, I've got a really exciting podcast for you today because Bailey, our guest today, is a hybrid shooter, and that is the topic of today's video. And he
hybrid
has a lot
shooting.
of tea to spill on how he became a hybrid shooter, how he got his clients, the benefits of being a hybrid shooter, the struggles, everything in between. And pretty much, I think, I'm a hybrid shooter myself, and you're a really successful hybrid shooter. And I just want people to kind of get some advice on how you made it where you are. So, who are you and what do you do?
So my name is Bailey Stokes. I'm also known as Kane Man on social media. It's the name that I go by, and it's the name that I operate under. I'm a photographer and videographer based in West Midlands, predominantly in Birmingham. So that's the most part about me. So you'll find out more during the podcast, I guess. But
Amazing.
yeah.
So, as you talk a bit more about yourself, I'm just going to flick to your work and just kind of
Okay.
show people a little bit of your flavor of what's going on. So,
Flavor,
you're a
love it.
hybrid shooter and you do, a lot of photography and videography. Like, how do you
Yeah.
find it?
Um, to be fair, I don't really see myself as a hybrid shooter because I'm technically doing two things that I love, and they just sort of fall hand in hand. But on paper, I am, if you know what I mean. So it's like when it comes to photography and videography, because I see them both in a similar light and they use similar things together. It just all seems to flow as one, like it's like one organism that works together, man. And I feel like, especially starting out from a photo basis and then morphing into a video basis, you just seem to put the two together. So most of the work that's on my Instagram is photo based, but there's a lot of video stuff that a lot of people don't see because a lot of corporate stuff. But it's a great avenue of work to get into, man, and to build that clientele, offering both services is just something that people want to see these days. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, 100%. And your work ranges from portraits to,
Yeah, it's like
location,
it's a lot of
studio,
like
a lot of
lifestyle.
visuals.
Yeah, like there's a lot of fashion type stuff, and I do like that whole fashion aspect. I feel like that's why I got into taking photos of girls rather than lads because I feel like with women's fashion I can see a lot more to it rather than men's fashion. And might that's me. That might just be me.
I actually say this all the time, and I don't know
It's what I'm
why, but
saying. I feel like
like
when I work with a female, I get more out of the shoot
I
than
think
if I
I
was to
think
work.
I think I don't know how I don't have the science behind this at all. I could just be chatting rubbish, but I feel like the fashion industry probably is much more catered
It's
towards,
predominantly female in it. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot
in
more
terms
men
of
now care
variety
about.
and styling anyway. I feel
Yeah, I
like they
mean,
just have
like,
so much more to offer.
yeah, I feel like a lot more men now care about how they look and in terms of
It's
fashion
getting
stuff.
there, yeah. I mean, it's
It's still
100%
it's
getting
still a
there.
woman's game, I think, in terms of fashion and stuff like that. But that's why I like doing these little portrait videos because it combines my love for portraits and also the video side of things. So
Yeah, and you definitely have your own little like touch to your
I see
shots.
people say this a lot, but I don't think you see it in your own work itself. Like same with you, like is like, if I see your work, I know it's your work straight away.
Yeah,
And
I think that's
got that
something we
that
all just
little.
want to reach to, don't we? Like when you
Yeah, I mean, I've had
become
some people message me going, "Oh, I saw this photo and I knew it was yours before I even looked at the name and stuff like that." And I'm thinking, how would you? Because you don't see it yourself because you do it every day.
it
Um,
becomes so apparent to you that it just
yeah,
is
like
your
it
work,
becomes the
right?
norm, really. So, yeah, man, I feel like it's
Yeah.
varied over the time. The more you scroll down, I think the theme stays the same, but there's also like little changes.
Well, one thing I
So
appreciated about your work, and we were talking about like how did we actually meet each other? So, if anyone's heard of the page UK.portraits, it's like a huge I could type it in on here, can't I? UK
yeah, and I
portraits.
think the photo that was on there was of a girl that I know called Poppy, and she
Yeah.
sat next to a bike, I believe,
What would you
and.
say UK portrait? It's like a
It's like a
UK.
communal based, like
Yeah, like
it's
it
like
kind of like
Instagram for
curates,
portrait photography within. Yeah,
editorializes a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of like photographers from around the
Just a
UK,
good
and
showcase page, really. I think
yeah,
that they're really good. Oh, there you are there.
I
I think they're
yeah.
really good at picking the right portraits to be on that page as well. Like they don't just pick absolutely anyone.
Yeah, your
Uh,
work landed on here and it caught my eye, and I was just like, oh my God, whose work is this?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
the reason was just because you had a huge appreciation for like the way you edit your colors, your tones. It's everything's just very punchy and vibrant. And I
yeah.
was like,
I think
ah,
that's
I love
yeah.
following. people
I think
who.
with the whole my whole brand, my KNMA brand, it's all to do with like energy, and I like that high vibrant to like people. So I like to work
Mhm.
with colourful people, and that's why I think a lot of my portraits come across that way. I like to have those kind
Yeah,
of
some very
that
dreamy shots
energy.
as well.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, and
exactly.
I think the way you express like your pictures with women as well, there's so much like variety to it as well. It's like
Yeah, I
stylish
do
and
feel
elegant at the
like
same time.
I feel like each individual person should have their own individual style of photo because not everyone's the same. And you take any photographer and any model, and you'll always get a different looking shot unless they're trying to recreate something. But I feel like when you get on set with someone or you get to a shoot with your model, in the first 10 to 15 seconds, I already know the kind of shoot that's going to be. I can already tell what it's going to look like. I can already tell the final outcome of how I'm going to edit things because I feel like people's characters and personalities play a lot in the work that I do. And if I vibe with someone as well, like when we did that shoot with Amy, me and you, is like there was just such high
Oh,
energies that day, and I
100%,
feel like
yeah.
the photos themselves, they had so much energy within them because of the way that we was, working together. And I feel like when you first step on a shoot, you can tell right away that was when we used the speed lighting.
Oh,
It was
100%, yeah. So like, we met not long ago to actually do a shoot together, and one of the
yeah,
things that we wanted to do the shoot was and this is from the shoot that we both did, was just to kind of see like how two photographers see the world so differently.
yeah,
And my friend Sophia puts it so well all the time that no one else will see the world like you will, through your eyes.
yeah,
And
exactly.
like, these shots that you're taking are just so like, how would you describe it? Like,
I
what's
don't, you
your
know what?
like? How would
I
you
feel
describe your
like
shots?
people asked me this before, and I don't really know. I just feel like when I pick up my camera and I see an opportunity to take a photo, and I put my eye to the eyepiece, I just like have this way of how I want it to be, and I just feel a certain way. I like the urban and I like the vintage kind of vibe. I just like high contrast images. I like to have a lot of depth and a lot of energy, like in my work. Like there's just
I've
like
noticed that, yeah.
I think like especially with like you is like your work, you like your models always have nice shapes to them. Like they've always got a good structure in the posing and stuff like that. So I like my models to try and have that relaxed vibe, and I feel like that's when you get someone's true personality out when they're most relaxed. Um,
Because it's hard to, especially when you meet someone for the first time and it's
oh
brand
yeah,
new, like,
100%.
and time is ticking, on the clock.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, if
exactly.
you can get
Yeah,
them into that state of like, trust, you could call it trust, like they're really going to
yeah.
show you all of themselves, like, completely and authentically. Yeah, you can get some really like stunning shots, like,
The
and
thing
a
is, if
lot.
you go to a shoot and you're not confident about what you're doing, you're not going to get any good results neither. And I feel like when you work with people who are confident and you're confident yourself, that's when the best shoots come about. The best shoots I've done are shoots that I'm not paid for because it's literally off of my own back. I know where I want to take the image, and I'm taking the image in that direction from the start to the finish. And I feel like a lot of the work that I've done that I've really like loved has been work that I've not been paid for, that I've not really
Mhm.
took to a shoot. It's just been passion projects that I've accidentally found a way of doing it into the point where I'm like, this is work that I want to show off. Like it's
Yeah,
rare that I'll
100%.
post
Yeah.
client work onto my page.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not able to because it's not allowed, but like for the other
I
time,
think so as well, and I think the biggest thing is like most of the work that's on my page as well is literally just my own
yeah, because
concepts that are not like.
if it's your page, you want it to be your page. Do you know what I mean? Like it wants to be
Yeah,
your style, your choices, everything down to a T, man. And you like if anyone could show me a million photos and I could know it's yours straight away, man. Like
I
it's
could
like
say the same to yours as well, bro. And I think as like, I don't know I'd like to know what you think about it, but like, what's your end goal like in this sort of like journey? Like,
I
is
feel like
it?
mate, I just want to get to a point where I'm able to shoot stuff that I love for like a full-on living because you can make a living now by shooting things that you aren't, passionate about just to get the money coming in, and you get the odd job where it's like, it's what you want to do, and you can get paid for it, and you're like, I'm like literally living the dream. But imagine living that dream every single day and managing to like actually find clients who see your vision. I think it's just being able to find the right people who are willing to invest into you as a person to get across your visions in their like videos and their photos and in the creative aspect of things, man. Because like I've got a lot of clients and I work for a lot of clients, and I'm shooting for the sake of shooting sometimes, but then when they give me a bit of creative like freedom and I'm out and able to do it myself, I get such a buzz like from
Mhm.
just making things. That's why I do a lot of passion projects because I would happily spend like lots of money and lots of time and put everything I can into a passion project because purely for the fact that I know I'm getting out of it what I can really, make from myself. And when you're getting paid to do a shoot and it's not going the way you want it to, it's not the same, man, because I
Yeah,
feel like
that's a
you're
really tough
held back, your
feeling.
creativity's held back because
Mm.
you've got to do what your client wants you to do at the end of the day. But if you're able to work with some people, and I am these days able to work with people who see your creative flair and they want to use it in their work, I think that's what I try and do these days is try and put out work that I want people to want to have themselves. Do you know what I mean? So it just sells it even more.
Yeah,
So
100%. And I think my goal is very similar as well. It's to find a bit of security in doing what I
yeah,
love. Like if you can
yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah.
can do your hobby as your full-time job, like that's
Well,
like you've
that's the
cracked the
dream,
code,
really.
isn't it? Like you've
That's the
cracked the
dream in
code
any
there.
area of work, man. So
Yeah, and obviously like a lot of my like I'd say favorite shoots have been just passion projects like yours have,
yeah,
where
yeah,
money isn't the main bottleneck because when you're shooting like with time and money, like that's your main like
yeah.
frontier of
Because you're
like
limited,
thinking.
then. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of
Yeah, and
people
you're very
forget that. And I feel
conscious.
like
And you in
you
some
go,
ways you might hold back as well in terms of taking risk, in terms of like your creative liberties. So I find that when I'm on like commercial shoots,
yeah.
I play it very safe because I don't want to like mess it up for
No,
the
that's
client,
another factor you got to think
Yeah,
about as well. Because at
and
the end of the day, you could broaden your horizons, but then it could also go the opposite direction. And if you've wasted like an hour of your client's time, to them that's a lot of time. Do you know what I mean? Because they are
yeah,
paying.
yeah, a hundred
So
percent.
yeah,
And I think it's important to have a balance of like doing both in your schedule. Like as like people who are like both full time in this, like I think a lot of people might take the misconception that I only do like commercial work full time, but
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I make time in my calendar to constantly do passion projects each
yeah.
week,
I feel
which
like
I
it's
like my own little workshops,
yeah.
like if for stuff to work on the client shoots, I need my own little workshops to experiment with
Well, you
to
need to be
see
able to
what I can
breathe in
bring.
our industry, man, because you can get so suffocated by like doing stuff that just pays the bills because it's easy sometimes and you just want to do it. But at the end of the day, man, like I've felt to the point where I've done that much work that I've not enjoyed so much before that like I felt suffocated, man. Like I've not been able to break that creative. I don't feel like I've been able to progress because I'm just doing stuff that's not putting me out my comfort zone. It's just keeping me in a bubble of work that yeah, is probably secure and it's good, but it's not going to get me to where I want it to be. And I feel like I'd say these last 4 to 5 months has really been me pushing for that, like really trying to broaden my horizons in terms of what I want to do personally with my work and where I want it to take me. And I feel like you can easily fall into the trap of getting into a routine, like of doing the same thing over and over again, because any job can become a 9 to 5. Do you know what I mean? You got to still have that passion there. And I feel like a lot of people can get lost along the way. That's why these passion projects bring you back down to earth, man, and it brings that genuine love for what you do back into the game. So yeah,
Yeah, I love the way you just put that. Then
yeah,
that's so true. I mean, I literally can't think of any other way to put it. And I suppose like for people who are out there looking to get into full time, my advice would be to just not stop doing the passion projects also,
yeah,
make time for it in your calendar and,
exactly.
it's where
If
you
anything,
can
focus
really.
on them more because if you create the work that you want to get paid for, that work will come. Like I try and tell people this all the time. Like
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
is why that I've started shooting things now that people are like, oh, I didn't know you shoot that. I'm like, well, yeah, because I've not really had the tools or the things at my disposal to be able to do it. But now that I am, I think people are going to start seeing a different side to my work, and I feel like it'll just switch up the whole dynamic of what people believe I can do.
Yeah,
Uh, so
$100%.
that's the area I'm taking it into now, anyway.
And if you think about it, it's like you're creating sort of like little spec ads in a way
Exactly,
for people to, and
exactly.
people do this a lot in the graphic design industry and loads of
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
industries. They'll create a spec ad for something like Nike. Doesn't mean they've actually been hired out by them, but it's like a concept project which will
Well,
make
that
your
was the whole point
clients
of that
take you
commercial
more
I was going to do for
serious, isn't
that
it?
Audi one. Yeah, was
Oh,
that whole.
let's have a little look at that then. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
the
the best
Audi
part
one.
about it, it was not even meant to be a bloody commercial. It was literally just meant to be for the sake of me going out and testing this new camera. But
So
managed to
you've
come out
literally
of
just
that.
upgraded to the Sony A7S III.
Yeah, I've
Like,
got the
what's your thoughts
A7S
on it?
III now from the A7 III, and
What's your thoughts on it?
I'm in love, man. I thought, like I said before, and I knew I needed the camera, but I don't think I realized how much I needed it until I actually got my hands on it. And I feel like personally, I was limited by my A7 III, and it put me off doing certain video work and stuff like that.
That's just me right now. Like I have a Sony A7 III, but like looking at your video,
Oh
My
man, yeah.
God, right? It looks like it's made for TV. Like,
And this is the
it's
thing, and
like,
that's like the 4K in this camera with the 10-bit colors. Like you can push them so much further than you believe.
mm,
Like I knew because I took that camera out to
not
learn how to
even just the
fix.
colors, man. It's just the resolution. Like, it's just blowing my
Yeah,
mind. The details I can see
honestly,
on the
brother,
screen.
like
Like,
it was ridiculous. Like I remember I was looking at it on my film monitor whilst I was out on the shoot, just literally practicing how to expose S-Log3 properly. And I remember looking at it and I looked at my mate and I was like, this is like absolutely ridiculously next level. Because to come from a really good camera to like an insane camera is a big,
yeah.
it just, it separates you before, man. And I've worked
I
with like
mean,
some good cameras before, but that was a different.
yeah. And I think it's not just like, our camera. I mean, the A7 III is definitely showing its age to some degree.
Yeah.
I'd say it's appropriate for social media content to a degree, but if you really want to get like,
This is what
I
I'm
mean, you
saying.
can get like
Yeah.
cinema style video on this. Like, this
Well,
is
that's
like,
the whole point of me getting this ISO S3s because it now shoots like such good like colors, so you can grade it to the point where it literally looks like a proper cinema color grade, which I think has been so hard to do on the previous Sony cameras. And I feel
yeah,
like Sony
yeah,
over the
yeah.
years has come like leaps and bounds in terms of color. And I feel like you can actually compete with some of the other cameras on the market. Because I
Yeah,
was reading,
it's definitely not going to be like your like red cameras or like,
no, 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 no.
crazy cine cams, but like on the client end, man, like you could really like start,
This is what I mean.
pushing
I feel like I
pushing
mean,
the limits of what you could do before.
like that's the thing now. I feel like with now this camera because it puts a lot more confidence in me, man. Like in terms of what I think I can do. Because before my limiting factors itself was like my mentality on okay, I've got this camera, I know what it can and can't do, so I would just hold off from doing certain things because I'm like I can't go there. Like it's a grey area.
Yeah,
And if
I'm in that very similar
you know
position
what I
at the
mean? Like, and
moment. Yeah,
if I put my heart into something and I'm gonna
yeah.
do something, I want to do it with everything I've got, man. So like, if I am able to get to a point where I can shoot a commercial for like a higher end like client or
Hmm.
this, that, and the
Hmm.
other, and I've got things at my disposal to use, yeah. Like I know that like I will want to do it more because if I'm held back by what I've got, like I'm not gonna want to do it, and it's gonna keep me in this like creative block. Whereas I feel like if I have these things at my use, it allows me to just go out and just do them, and then there's no thinking about it because I'm like, what's limiting you now? You've got the camera, you've got the gear, you've got the all the mental training that you've needed to get to the point you are now. So just go and do it. Do you know what I mean? I tell people all the time, go and do it. Like just go and do it, and then here I am, like holding off myself. But now I've got all the stuff that I need to go and do it. There's no excuses for me this year now. It's like
Yeah, and obviously you've been in the game for quite a while. Like if anyone's thinking of buying a camera that's equivalent to a Sony A7 III, I mean, this is a video you filmed on a Sony A7 III
yeah,
and it
exactly. Like
still
this, yeah. I
bangs,
mean,
like
and that's 1080p, and that's still it
you know,
still looks
like
great. Like the colours there, especially like
yeah.
on that car part, mate, was just absolutely insane. That
Yeah.
wasn't even filmed in like S-Log. That was filmed in HLG3.
Yeah,
So like,
which is basically, the best way to get around on a Sony A7
yeah,
III
you
is to
just can't.
probably like figure out how to really use those,
The thing is, if
custom
you learn how to
profiles.
expose any camera properly, even your iPhone, like you're able to do a madness with them all. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of like knowing where you can and where you cannot take your camera. Do you know what I mean?
100%. So, pros and cons of hybrid shooting. What's been really difficult about, let's say, like, the hybrid shooting? I know you have two cameras now, but like
Yeah.
when you were using A7 III and you were doing photography, like what kind of stuff limited you?
I feel like with the A7 III in terms of photography, I was absolutely fine with it. But when it comes to like videos, I feel like because my photos were such high quality that the videos weren't where I wanted them to be, I always felt like I was owing them something more. Like I didn't feel like I was able to achieve what I wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's the main reason why I actually got this second camera now. It's because I feel like I want to go down more a video path than I do a
Mm.
photo. And I feel like that's the reason because as much as I love doing photos for like clients and it gets me a lot of work and it's allowed me to be able to do what I want to do by doing both photo and video. Um, I feel like I've got more of a passion in terms of video to want to do it for work, but then I've also got the urge to take photos, but for my own personal use rather than for like clients. So like now I have a lot of people come to me for both photo and video, which is perfect. And if
Yeah,
you are
and
able, you want to
that's
do it,
amazing.
it's amazing. Like go ahead and do it. But I feel like now because I'm venturing more into this video world that I'm going to be start doing more of that. I tend to like stray away from the photo work, but I still, if there's a shoot that I love, man, like, and it's got such a good idea behind it, like I'm going to run and I'm going to take that opportunity to take the photos of the person. Do you know what I mean? So it comes with like ifs and buts about it all. And I feel like if you want to do photo and you want to do video, don't tell yourself that you can't do both, man. Like, because you can. Like, is does it? I do it. Like, it's easy to
If
do,
your
man.
camera's capable of it, it would be
It's what I'm
so
saying. Like,
it would be so
A7 III
rude
is more
not
than
to.
capable enough. Like, it
And you know,
films video there. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I feel
there's
like
loads
that's
of
one of my
equivalent cameras as well, you know, from Nikon and Canon in the same price range as well. For people who are like starting out,
And the
people who
thing
are
is, if you're
thinking
starting
of,
out, you can get a second-hand camera that produces like insane quality for what it is. Just get some good glass on the front of that camera and just go out and just be creative with it, man. Like,
yeah,
don't
you
limit
know,
yourself to what
I've
you can
noticed
do.
that like when I first saw some of these videos, and obviously now I can see kind of some of the limitations you're talking about on the A7
Yeah,
III. You know,
yeah.
when you're using a camera like the A7 III, most of my work ends up on Instagram. So it's very difficult to like see the drawbacks of the resolution and
This is what I
sometimes
say
like
to a lot
the
of people as
you know
well.
like when you're grading and you can start seeing the artifacting that comes on the
Yeah,
screen
especially like
and
because it's that
yeah,
8-bit color breaks apart really easily,
can
especially
only
on the
push
Sony.
it so far and
Yeah,
but when you're, you know, for someone like me, like I can really get away with it on
yeah,
Instagram,
because
and
especially
I
with Instagram and
find
compression, it's so
yeah,
much easier
yeah,
to get away
and
with it.
you know I can find ways to like mask like the like you know you can see. I mean, this is probably YouTube compression, not your stuff. I'm sure the original file is like insane, but like you know like and on top of that you gotta yeah account for like all the compression that goes on online. So it helps
Yeah,
having like that you know upgraded camera you have. But if you're doing like social media content, like we're literally talking about like photo visuals, like you know, social media content for like artists, musicians, anything, and that's going to be all like primarily on Instagram. You really don't have to go crazy
no.
with
And
like
I've
how
seen
much you
people
spend.
make amazing content with, like we said earlier, like a Sony A6400 and stuff like that, man. Because
Yeah, or even an iPhone, which is mad.
like,
And
bro,
what I mean by iPhone, I mean like people get like these like moment lenses, like
yeah,
huge
these proper
ones,
little
and it's like
cinema
yeah,
rigs for the iPhones and
people
that.
go crazy because
Yeah, yeah.
like it's insane like how far you can push yourself when you actually limit yourself in like a box.
I feel like
And
now, if I was given my old camera where I am today, that I'd push myself a lot further to use it more because I knew that eventually I'd upgrade to something better. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like I remember when I first got my A7 III, I was like amazed by it, and then I feel like months down the line because I outgrew because I think I grew really quick in terms of like where I was in the industry that I outgrew my gear really quick as well, and I don't feel like I really abused my camera to its like full potential at the start, which I should have done whilst I was starting out because you can get away with it more when you first start out with
Oh,
things.
100%, yeah, because obviously everyone's standards is like in a similar
Yeah, I
sort
feel
of
like your
like
standards increase as your work tends to get better as well.
yeah, and
So you're always
obviously
looking for that next step in terms of whatever that might be.
yeah,
Um,
and if you're in an industry where the standards are all constantly like day by day, you know, adapting
yeah,
to like new technology, new ideas,
yeah.
like you got to try and like to some degree like keep up with it or try and like, you know, find creative ways to adapt to it.
And I think that's the thing, man. And I feel like because I surround myself with a lot of people who either do really well in the industry or I've come from a background where I've known a few people to, progress to that point where it's like, it's not so much a comparison, it's more of an inspiration. So it's like, I want to get on that level. Like, I want to be the person that like someone looks up to in terms of how do I get there? Do you know what I mean? Because I've got a few people that I used to look up to. And I remember thinking, if I could be that guy one day, that someone looks up to in terms of like I don't know, just getting them out to go and do something that they love. It doesn't even have to be photography and videography, man. Like if
Oh
it just
yeah.
gives them a little boost, then it just means something to me. Because I have people now message me, and it still blows my mind to this day. I have people message me that they want to come to a shoot and they want to shadow what I do, and they think what I do is amazing to the point
I
where
mean, your platform speaks for itself and you know, like obviously I would not be surprised for people hitting you up for work experience,
yeah.
like, you know, shadowing. Like there's a lot to learn, especially like you're not just versatile in location and videos. Like studio's like a whole nother
Oh
ball
yeah, I've
game as
got a lot
well.
of
Like, you
studio work that
know,
I've not even been able to post yet, and I'm waiting to post them, but I'll go wait for my client. But I did a shoot recently, one of my clients I do a lot of music videos for,
hmm
and we did a photo shoot, and some of the photos came out absolutely insane. And I was like, oh, let me post on it. Post. He was like, you can't post them yet. So the second I get the call clear, best believe I'm posting all of them on there, man. But they were some of the best photos.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've got a lot of experience as not just a hybrid shooter, but a well-rounded like style of shooting. So,
Yeah.
what kind of advice would you give to people starting out right now? Like, do you think it's important to specialize? Because a lot of people look at me and they say
I
I'm very
think,
specialized in like one
yeah, like
direction.
I feel like people kind of have an idea of what they want to do, but all I'd say is I don't think I ever knew the area of work that I wanted to be in until I started doing it. I feel like it's changed so much over the last year, even just the last 6 months, man, to the point where I'm like, the best thing you can do is go out and try it because if you've got a passion for photography or videography, it doesn't matter what area that might be in, whether that's commercial, corporate, whether that's like adverts, whether that's like spec ads, whether it's like fashion photography, editorial photography, it could be portraits, it could be cars, man. Like the best thing you can do, go out, take photos, what you love, take more photos of. Do you know what I mean? And like, I'm not saying go out and shoot absolutely everything, like from a wedding to like some cakes, like, but just do something that you think you could see yourself doing and something that you'd enjoy yourself doing because the worst thing you can do is limit yourself and then get involved in something that you're not really going to follow through all the way. Our best thing for me was I just started shooting bits and pieces. I knew what I wanted to do, like in some form of the word, but I didn't really know exactly. And I feel like the only reason I know where I want to take things now is from experience, is from having those clients of those bad ones where I'm like, I've gone from shoots like I wanted that again to shoots where I'm like, I'm never ever going back to a shoot like that again. And it's sometimes because of the client and it's sometimes because of the work. But if you solely shoot stuff that you love, it becomes a lot easier. And I feel like a lot of people limit themselves because they don't know what they want to do rather than going out and actually doing it. So that's the only piece of advice I'll give is just go out, shoot what you got to shoot, and eventually you'll find your niche. You'll find what you love. You'll find that like little piece of you that just gets a little bit more out of one shoot than another. But you could help
That's a
and find
great
yourself
way of
that you
putting
like
it.
you like multiple things, man. Like I know I like taking photos of cars, but I never do. Do you know what I mean? So there's like there's areas stuff like that, and it's a
It's
great
hard
area.
because like there's so much variety that you can do,
Yeah,
and then you got to think about like what do you want people to see on your feed because you don't want to just. I mean, some people might enjoy posting everything and anything, but I think the incentive to do that is less and less today because people are
yeah.
looking for like real specialists.
Specialists in areas of work.
Yeah, and in the industry, it's more and more
Oh, you
like
need to be a
that,
specialist in the industry to get the work, man. Like,
Um, because like literally everybody can take, well, if you're in the industry and you're pretty sure like if you're like full time already, chances are you're probably already good at like studio video or like
yeah,
for one of those things at least, right? So people find use and convenience out of that same person being able to do a lot of different things. But what
yeah.
I think grounds you to be consistently like in a long-term relationship with clients is like what can you offer that others people can't, that they just cannot let
Yeah,
go
that's
of
what I say.
you,
It's
you
it's
know what I
about having a
mean?
niche within yourself for your niche. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because you can offer the world to someone, but if it's not the world that they want to live in, then it's not going to get you anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Oof, that
So
was deep.
it's true though,
Absolute
man. Like I feel
truth
like
bombs.
with how I look at it as well. It's like if you could be the most amazing wedding photographer in the world, right? Like you could have the best wedding photos that anyone's ever taken. But if you go to someone and they do like food and they do like cars and then they do like people and then do
Mm.
weddings. I know personally, if I was having my wedding, like having photos taken at my wedding, I would want someone who just does weddings because to me, I'm like, you're a specialist in that area. The other person might be better, but because that's all you do, if your work is good, I know a lot of people have a lot more trust in someone who just takes photos of weddings than there would be in, like, say, me, for example, who might be really good at a wedding and probably might have done them before, but if it's not there to be seen, they won't put the trust in you. And it's all about having trust and your clients having trust in you. And then you'll find that when you build that relationship with a client where they trust you, you'll get a lot more out of it. Not even just financially, but like mentally and creativity. Like you'll be able to do a lot more with that client. And I feel like it's just about building those like building blocks of like friendship and relationship with your clients and able to do the work that you want to do eventually. So you might not be able to do it right away, but I know a lot of my clients over time have come around to the ideas I've gave them over God knows how many months, and now I'm able to work with them on the basis of what I want to do with them. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah,
What do you think is like the key to getting clients? And obviously, I ask people all the time this question, but I one question I've had since the last time I've done podcasts is, you know, let's say this is a random person. They live somewhere that probably isn't a very urban city. It doesn't have a huge infrastructure, but they
Yeah.
have a nice camera and they're really passionate about photography or videography. Like, how do they get clients and turn it into a full-time job? Do they have to move to a new city,
Nah,
or can they make the
I've
work come to
I've
them?
got a lot of
Like,
friends in remote locations, and they do way better than I've ever done in my life. And it's just a matter of, I feel like your work will always speak for itself, man. And it's hard to say, and well, it's easy for me to say because I live in Birmingham, which is like an up and coming city for photographers and videographers,
it's a
and
big
I'm able to
city. It's a
travel.
really big city, you know.
Yeah, I feel like over the last like 2 years, even the last year, man, like I'm seeing so many more like photographers and videographers just pop up out of nowhere. And I'm all for it, man. Like people know me, I'm very welcoming to the world of like what I do, and I'm always there to help people out when it comes to like what I love. Because if I see the passion in someone else, then I want to put it forward. But I don't think like living somewhere where you're a bit more isolated from the rest. I just feel like if anything, it will heighten like what you want to do more because you'll be itching to do it more if you're not able to do it as often. And in terms of me getting clients, I feel like the only reason I ever got clients was because I just went out there and just made the work. And I know that even if I was living in the most remote location in the world or I was living in the busiest city in the world, I'd still have gone and done that in some way. Like it's about putting the
You'll
time in.
find a way. It's like, you know,
Yeah,
your
man.
fight and flight will kick in, and if you're really driven to do, like, if it's your calling to do like fashion
Yeah, it's all about
photography
passion.
and you live like in the woods, either you will make it work for you in the woods or you will just
You will take the best photo of the tree in the
yeah.
world, man. Like I'm telling you now, if you're surrounded by trees all the time, you'll be the best tree photographer there ever is. Like all I'm saying is just go out and just do it. And it's just so easy to say, but it's only easy to say because I've done it. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it
and I think people
worked
make a lot of
out.
misconceptions that fashion is always like aligned with like a city, but I follow loads of amazing photographers
Oh
who
yeah,
put fashion
100%.
into like nature, wildlife,
Yeah, I
not
mean, I know a
wildlife,
lot of photographers down by the coast and that do like absolutely incredible shoots, and I'm literally
yeah.
dying to get down the seaside and take some beach photos and
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Like
it's
I'm
it's
jealous
so
of those
insane.
people. You know
Like,
what I mean?
yeah, like they make it look so editorial, and there's so many different ways that you can make it work to the point where you'll eventually, when you get all that work, you can start taking those opportunities to start traveling elsewhere because you'll have all the
Yeah,
finance, all the
exactly.
income, all the time, and all the opportunities, all the incentives to like go to those other places. So it's just about, it's like that quote, like, let me drop some truth bombs. Like, you know, when you see like the glass is half empty, but someone else might see it
Yeah,
as like half full.
yeah.
So it's like, just look at your surroundings. What can you do realistically and find a way
It's
to
just literally
exploit
using what
it?
you've got around you and making sure that you don't feel limited. Like I feel like it's easy to like I said, not do things because you don't feel like you're able to do them. But I'd rather do something and it be like somewhat to what I want to do than not do it at all. Like, and the thing is, like, an easy way to explain it is if you feel like you've not got any nice locations or stuff like that, then studio shoots wouldn't really be a big thing because, like, I've got photos on my page where I've got a model in front of a black background and people love it. So you can't be limited by having nowhere to shoot or something that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like some of these photos, example, like I'm literally just in. I got a white backdrop, got a black backdrop. You could probably buy them off Amazon for ten
This is
pounds.
like one of my favorite shots you've done.
That was shot in like an abandoned building, not even in the studio. That was shot in an abandoned building with natural light up against a white wall,
So you didn't
and
even need to spend any money on like a
that was
lighting
all
or
natural
anything.
lighting. That was just a
It's
bit of
so
a
mad because it completely looks like in a
yeah.
studio.
I
Or like
mean,
I would just
smallest
think it
yeah.
might be a studio shoot.
And that's what I said to people. Like, you don't have to go out and pay this much money and all that stuff, and to just get the results that you want to get, man. Like, it's honestly so easy to do. It's just about putting the effort into doing it. And I feel like people just think it just comes to you, and that you don't learn. Like, I look at some of this work now, and I'm thinking like, I'm leaps and bounds like from that now because of what I know. The photos could be the exact same, but because my mind has changed and my knowledge has changed, and I know more than I did then. I look back and I think, okay, I could have done this, I could have done that, I should learn this, should learn that, and you'll see that in all of your work, man, as you go and you
Oh
progress.
yeah, for sure. And you see it as you just even scroll up to your like
Oh
work.
yeah,
It's constantly like improving and again like, you know, like there are so many like cues to your photos that it's like you said, the simplicity of like a black backdrop, but the way you
yeah,
edit is just
like
so good.
it
Like
just
it's
sells itself.
crazy.
And I feel like if you don't
It is
have
so
the
good.
idea
Like
first, Yeah, if you don't have the idea at first, then it's not going to follow through. I feel like the best thing for someone to do who doesn't really understand what they're doing is get an idea together and just run with it and just try to make it work. Like it might not
Hmm.
work, but the more times you try it, you might just get lucky one day. And then I'm telling you now, like I fell out of love with what I do a couple of times, and I've been in the midst of it, like, oh, I'm meant to be doing this. Is it right for me? And then I'll have one shoot or one photo, and it just resets the whole count, and I'm back to like square one, and I'm gunning for it, and I'm so passionate and driven and motivated that that's all that I want to do. Um, and it's just it's easy for me to say because it's happened to me. It's like a euphoric moment of like clarity on what I'm doing, and or it's like when you don't have any work for a while, and I've got like a big client come through, that all the stress went away and like all the negative thoughts about am I in the right industry? Should I be doing what I'm doing? They all go to
Yeah.
bed, man, and I'm back to that like that passionate guy who just wants to make pretty things on camera, and I'm
Hmm.
like in awe and like we've got a similar friend V, and I always talk to him
Oh,
about it. He always says to
people
me like,
definitely need to follow V. I'm
"Oh,
gonna
yeah,
shout him out on this podcast
yeah,
right now. Actually, let's check his page out. But as you just mentioned him, yeah,
yeah." But like I remember V literally sat down with me once and he was like, "Bro, you are the most passionate guy that I've ever met in this industry." La, la, la. And it's mad for someone to say that to you because I'm just talking about what I want to, what I want to do and what I want to see myself. So it's like we've worked on a few shoots together, and we're all good mates to be fair. But he's one of those guys who if he sees it in someone, then he'll let them know, and he definitely let me know that one day.
yeah. V's definitely going to be coming on the podcast as well. And I'll save all the chat for V when he's on. But yeah, like I totally understand what you mean. Like, um, having like a mindful or like I wouldn't say like people message me a lot of the time, and some of the messages I get is like really heartbreaking. It's like I'm
Oh really?
struggling, I'm absolutely struggling, I've had no clients for this long, how do you do it? And then I'm like, I don't know what answer to give all the time, but
Yeah,
sometimes I feel like I can't give them a definitive answer because like the industry is just so adapted to like there's no one shoe that fits all, and I'm just constantly just asking them like, okay, what are you currently doing? Okay, what could you be also doing? Have you
yeah,
tried this? Have you tried that? I try to have like a really rational like mindset on like, have you looked at everything on the table as clearly as possible? And if not, then there are some harsh realities you might just have to accept. If everything is not going your way and this is your full-time job and it's at risk, then you might have to pick something else up on the side till you can
yeah,
get back to where you need to. And there's no
yeah.
shaming doing that either,
Well, the
like
thing is,
some.
I still work a full-time job as well as what I do,
Hmm.
and that's purely for the fact because like I could get by doing what I'm doing and I'd be comfortable with it, but because I like to work as much as I can, the money that I earn from that allows me to progress further in this because well,
Feel
I'm
your
able to buy
passion.
that camera and the passion runs through, man. Like I'll go through like a full week, 7 days a week, doing like two shifts back to back, working, editing till like getting home and editing straight away because I've got that much passion in me that it doesn't matter if I'm working a dead end job or I'm doing this full time because I'm always going to want to do this. Like it's always been a passion of mine. Like I've been doing it since I was like 11 years old, man. Like, and the fact that I'm still
11
here
years
today.
old. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, my first
Insane.
videos I used to do was like Call of Duty videos back a day. Like,
Oh, that's how everybody starts off, Let's all
yeah,
get on
man, I used to edit
like
all the
making
old Call of Duty
it's making
videos, and
content though, isn't it? You're thinking about like
it's just
how
about
you
being
can
creative
like,
and
yeah,
just
be
getting into that
creative.
that get into that loop. Because the thing is, it doesn't matter what you're in. Yeah, if you're an artist or like you're a fashion designer or you're anyone in any creative industry, you'll realize, man, that the passion it's a different kind of feeling, man. I feel like it's one of the best feelings on earth because the passion in yourself will never die out as long as you keep doing what you're doing. And I feel like a lot of people fall out of love with it, and we all do. I feel like we've all got to a point where like it just you fell out of love with what you've done for whatever
Yeah, and
reason.
this year has really tested people because
I
like
think
obviously
especially during lockdown, yeah,
yeah, because a lot of people have been tested. Like you've had it good, so and I'm just speaking in general for like someone who might have had it good. Like say person X, right, has had it good for so long, and then bam, lockdown hits, and now
yeah.
they've got a complete 180, and it's like, oh, what do I do
What do I
now?
do? But I feel like in those moments you either strive or you go and hide away, man. And a lot of
It's in that
people,
moment, yeah, you really
yeah, I feel like
figure
a lot of
out if
people
this is what you
take
want
the
to do.
easier option, and that's why they don't get nowhere. And I'm very. The thing is with me, like as nice as I am, I will tell you like as it is straight away. Like I don't care who you are, what you wear. Like it's literally it's black and white to me. Like you either want to do it or you don't. And if you don't want to do it, then that's fair enough. There's going to be people out there that will overtake you. So I will never stop working because to me, if I'm not working and someone else is, and then they're getting ahead of me, and I do not like that idea. Do you know what I mean? So I like to be the best at what I can do, and I feel like by being the guy that like just wants to work all the time or has got something on his mind, like sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with an idea and I won't sleep because I'm too busy thinking about how to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like people say to me all the time as well, like, don't you get tired? I'm like, if I got tired, then I wouldn't be in this industry because I'm doing it because I love it, not because like I want to get money or I want to be rich or
Hmm.
nothing like that. I'm doing it because I've got so much passion that that's all I care about, man. Like I don't care
Yeah,
about anything
and
else. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, and sometimes it worries me that people see the opposite end of the stick first. Like, like you can, anyone watching this podcast can tell, you can see the passion in your eyes right now for the work you do. But, um, it kind of like, I wouldn't say it disappoints me. Like, it's just, when some people message me saying, so how did you get this money, or how did you get these clients? I'm like, and then, it's,
it
it's
should
like,
never be
well,
the sole
it
like.
shouldn't always be the soul of the question, but it's like I think I don't know how to answer that question because when I was first doing photography, I never thought about it for money
No,
first because I was
I
already
no,
working a full-time job as a teacher and I was
yeah,
getting a nice paycheck every month, nice
yeah.
holidays, nice pension. I was so stressed in that job that I needed a creative place to escape to, and I picked up a 10-year-old camera, like a Canon 550D with a
Yeah,
really rubbish lens, like slapped it on and I started doing street photography. And for me, that was just like, it was so
it's like a
therapeutic.
release, isn't it, man? Like
Yeah,
I
and
remember when I was,
and
I think I was
100%.
really, I was like 17, I think, or 16, and I had a Canon 600D or like a Rebel T3i. I think I had the 24 to 70 kit lens, and then I bought myself a 51.8 for like second hand. And I walk around Birmingham just taking photos, and I walked around Birmingham for about 6 hours, and I think I took about 7 photos. But
Oh
to
my
me,
goodness.
those 7 photos were like the epitome of like my career, like at the time. Like
It's where
I
it
felt,
started, isn't it?
yeah, and I started shooting. Like I've got these old like vintage cameras now, and I started messing about with
Oh, wicked.
all the different lenses and stuff like that. And I feel like just learning how to use light and stuff. It's something that you can't explain. Someone who doesn't operate a camera or doesn't do photography, it's so hard to explain that feeling of getting a good shot or learning how to like shape light and shape people into like making it look cinematic. And it's just a
Yeah.
whole different art,
Have
man.
you still got that video of me and you shooting Amy? Because like we were literally like that when I bought my little outdoor lighting kit. We were just
Oh, I
like
think
kids in a
so. Yeah,
kids in a playground, and we were like, "Oh, my light speed is only at like 200. How can we make it like bokeh?" We were
yeah,
like, "Bro, it's just the laws of light. We'll just use
yeah.
this. We'll just
I
use
know.
like a little ND filter." And I was like, "Oh my god."
It's crazy, bro. That's the thing, man. I love
Yeah.
seeing passion in people, and I love seeing passion in people in an industry that I'm passionate about, man. Like I feel like you can get on, like with me, I can get along with people, but I know that if I can sit there and talk to someone about a camera for 3, 4 hours, yeah, like
Yeah. We
I've got so much energy, like it just comes out of me. Do you know what I
It
mean? It's
sounds really like
crazy.
it sounds like a meme, but like when you do meet someone passionate, all they will do is talk to you about
Yeah.
cameras and your gear
And
and
I find myself in
everything.
conversations about cameras and photography and videography, and I don't even know that I'm doing it. And I come back away and I'm thinking, I bet they're sick of me because I'm
Oh
just
my
all I want to
goodness,
talk about is
yeah.
that all the time, man. So
Like your clients will be the last people you'll talk to about your gear, but when you meet someone else who's a creative, you're just like, hey, so what do you use? How do you
yeah,
use it? Why are you
yeah.
using it? Tell me more.
And I
Like,
think that was a good thing about when me and you did the shoot together because like me and you had the exact same setup pretty much,
yeah.
and
So
it
let's
was
show
so
people that
crazy to
actually.
see how two creatives with the exact same gear produce different photos.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a really good that's a really good workshop for some people to go out and do. If you know someone who's got similar gear to you or like pretty much the exact same setup, go out and take photos and just learn from each other because there's certain angles that I used to see and that Iz would see that we both wouldn't think together
Oh,
unless
for
we started
sure.
doing it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
So the
So
shoot is with Amy. Shout out to Amy, such a sick model.
yeah.
And basically, we met up, and we like you said, we have the same gear. We've got the Sony A7. We at the time we did anyway.
But I've still
Um,
got one,
oh
so
yeah, because it's for photography.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
going to be your main driver. The A7S III is only like 12 megapixels. So
yeah.
let's have a look at like your shots and my shots, and like just it. I think for people who want to build confidence in getting better, work with other photographers because you really get to
Definitely.
see like how you see the world through like different lenses. And this is like Bailey's shots, and I think what got me interested was like how I was saying this to you. You're very like you like getting into people's intimate spaces, and you
Yeah,
like creating those intimate spaces. And
I get really personal
this
with
one is
people. Yeah,
just like, yeah, like this one's like really like, it speaks for like what I'm trying to say, but like I find it very difficult to capture those kind of shots, probably because it's just not what I've tried to specialize in. But you're
yeah.
very good at trying to, trying to get out people's like vulnerable, like emotive kind of like expressions.
I've had that a few. I think a lot of the girls that I work with as well. I tend to work with girls who I've known for a while or stuff like that because I do, and I always say to them like, don't get scared. I'm gonna get a bit closer now because you
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
like, I love when you can see into someone's eyes in photography that it's just you can see so much about the character and like the whole reason like that my company's called Kane and May is because it's Latin for movement and it's all to do with like energy and I like to see energy in my work. So I definitely like to see energy through people, man. And I feel like expressions and especially with your work, man, with the poses and stuff like that, like it speaks
It's
volumes, man.
so
Up and
different. Like,
poster,
like we're
it's
literally
just
shooting the same people, and the way we just decided to construct, like, conduct the shoot is so different. But it just shows more to Amy's character that both of us
it
have
just
been
shows
able
that
to bring
she's
out
like an
her
egg, bro. She's
depth.
versatile as hell, man. Like, you
Yeah,
know
and
what
it's
I
not
mean?
just us like giving ourselves a pat on the back. Like if you're someone like who's collaborating with another photographer, you're not the only one getting the benefits. That model is being like tested for their range, and it's
100%, bro. And I
like,
feel like you can forget that as well whilst you're taking photos of someone that it is
yeah, a
physically
hundred
draining.
percent.
Like, and it is really hard for someone to keep themselves in certain ways and be certain ways as well and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just a testament to like why you should try and
Just go
collaborate
out,
more.
work with people, man. Collab, do stuff
Yeah,
like
collaborate
it could
more
be
with
on one
people.
project together, or it can be on like your own things. Just I'm telling you now, if you've got someone that you know does photography, hit them up. Like 9 times out of ten, I'm telling you now, if someone's in the same industry as you and they enjoy your work, they will want to work with you. Like it's like without a shadow of a doubt, man. Like I remember I reached out to Iz and then me and Iz were like, we need to work together, and I was like, sweet, we know the same model, coming up to Manchester. I'll come do a shoot with you, and then we all planned it out, and it just came out absolutely great. And I feel
Yeah.
like and we had honestly the best day, and we literally stayed in the smallest part of Manchester, did like an amazing shoot over like God knows how many hours, and we was both exhausted at the end of it, but there was just always
Yeah.
energy throughout the whole of it. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
So
it's just us having fun, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and that's what it
it
was. It was just
was
fun. It
it
was
was
just
just it was just also, this was like the BTS from the day
yeah.
on your end, and it was just like just trying to get us both out of our comfort zones and just trying to see like how we navigate everything. I think what worried me the most about this shoot was how you don't use a camera strap and you're literally holding the
Oh,
camera on
oh,
like
hanging up.
two
I'll do that on the
fingers.
A7S3, bro. I don't care. I'm just hanging it
What?
down like that, bro.
Oh no, it's gonna give me like a heart attack,
He's
dude.
there with off-white strap and everything all licked up in his.
I am carrying my camera like a baby, and you're just there like just casually talking about like, and I just noticed like you haven't got a camera strap. You're like, yeah, bro, check this trick out, and I'm
Just
like,
hanging
oh
the
my
camera off
god,
my fingers, bro. I got that much
yeah.
faith in myself, brother. That's
You
why.
know what? It speaks volumes, touch wood. But like literally, it was really good seeing like how we both were able. And I think the thing I took away from you was I got a little bit more confident in being in people's
Yeah,
vulnerable
man.
spaces, and
Yeah,
since
man.
then, like you can see, I've started to
Yeah,
incorporate
I
more
can see a bit more personal.
portraits.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
brother.
like I've started to like get a little bit closer to people and try and figure them out. And that shoot really helped me like just,
Like this one, particularly. Oh my days! Like
yeah. And I didn't know
you
like
recently that you've done, I just fell in love with your work more so than ever, man. Like,
I think
and
it's
I
just
feel,
because, like you said, that workshop really gave me a little bit of confidence, because I thought, oh, I
yeah, man.
mainly want to stick with like what I can do. But then I started to really just, like you said, there's a different dimension when you hit people with like,
Bro, it
the
changes the
personal
whole
space.
dynamic of a shoot, man. If you just literally step
Yeah.
1 foot closer than you are, I'm telling you now, the style of the shoot and the shots that you get are totally different. Even in the video, yeah, if you're doing like a video of someone, like this is why they use all different focal lengths in videos and stuff like that, man. Like if you switch from like a 24 mil to an 85 mil, you get a lot more closer and you see how personal is that person.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah. A
so
hundred
crazy, man.
percent, a
Like
hundred
it
percent.
opens up to a whole new world, and I feel like I can see more into someone then in terms of like visually when I'm that close to them. And I feel like because when I'm in someone's space, I'm like, I ain't going anywhere now. Like this is where I'm gonna get the most out of it because I'm vibing back and forth and I'm constantly talking to a model rather than with me, I don't really tell my models how to pose or do this and the other, like because I don't really have a set idea in my head. I just want to make them as comfortable as possible, and I always say to them, just relax, man, just do what you got to
Hmm.
do. I just talk to them, get
So
really
with
close to
someone,
them,
someone like
take my
Amy,
phone.
we obviously know her and we built that relationship. So when you
Yeah,
work with a new model, how do you get to take those like really like personal shots?
I just do it, bro. Honestly, I
Hmm.
mean, I feel like I've just got such confidence in myself that I know the images will speak volumes themselves. That I don't mind being the guy that's going to step up, get right close and personal to you on the first photo of the first minute of the
Yeah,
first shoot ever meeting.
it's like doing an icebreaker, right?
Yeah, and I
Just
feel like once
something
you've done it, it's done.
yeah, yeah, it's like doing an icebreaker, and I think I noticed when you're on the shoot, you're just cracking jokes left, right, and center,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
always smiling. And I think like, people pick that energy up, and it's like they can let their guard down a bit and be like, okay, I know I'm working with someone who's gonna take me seriously, and like, and is able to have a little bit of fun with, like I think. Especially when you're working with a new model, like they need a bit of guidance, and that communication is so important. So if
Exactly.
you're
And I feel
someone
like,
who's
go on,
I was
I'll
just
let
gonna
you.
say, if you're a new photographer, and you're just starting out, just think that the camera is not just where your job ends; it's also like the way you
Yeah.
communicate with them.
Yeah, man, definitely. Like, there's a lot more things to it than just taking a photo. Because I know a lot of people and I know a lot of clients, and the one thing I've taken away, and could be another way of getting clients really, is I've gone into meetings with people that I don't even need to go into meetings with because I know that my personality and my character will sell my brand more than the work alone.
Yeah,
I
100%.
know a lot of people who have had meetings with similar clients to me or the exact same clients as me, and the clients have come to me and they've said to me, well, they was good, and I like your work as well, but I just want to work with you. And I was like, I don't know what it is about you, but I like to work with you. Like they just see that the energy and the stuff that I've got in with me is something that they can get along with, and they feel more comfortable. Oh, can we do this, or can we push this? Or if you are able to make your client feel like they are able to use you like fully and talk to you properly, rather than just having you in the corner, just
Like
doing this.
this robotic relationship where it's
Yeah, man.
like, okay, today we will do this, and
Yeah.
so on. Like,
And then people
uh,
fall into that trap, man.
yeah,
It's really easy to get into
yeah.
this space where you just sort of just being
Remember
robotic,
you
and I
remember
feel
you
like
left that 9 to 5 robotic job to get into this industry, which is so much more fun and flexible. And yeah, it has its like, hardships, but this is one of the benefits of it. Like
exactly,
you
man.
can make some really long lasting relationships with clients who can really become like, I'd say like some of the people I work with are like family now. Like,
Yeah, I've got. I
it's
mean, I've got
insane.
some of my biggest clients who like are just reoccurring. I'm there every month, and they're like some of my closest friends now, man. That like I think I've met not even just client wise, but like people like you is especially like I've met some of the best people that I think that I'm ever going to meet along the journey because I think with passion comes a lot of respect as well for someone. And if it's in the same industry as well, like I know I've got a lot of respect for people who do well in the industry because I know the graft that they have put in to get where they are today. And it goes both ways, man, especially with clients. If you work with a client for so long and they see like your passion and your drive and your dedication to the work, like they will like that, man, and you'll form that like bond, that relationship. And I've made a lot of good friends from it all, and it's allowed me now to do things that I never thought I'd be able to do purely for the fact that I was just out there to go and do it, and I just
A
did it,
lot
man.
of introverts are typing angrily into the comment section right now.
Oh, can you imagine going, I don't want to go and meet you. I mean, the thing is,
Y-
like, step outside, do what you got to do.
yeah.
Like, I'm not the most confident person when it comes to meeting new people, but you will never know that that's not the case because to me, I've got no other choice but then to go out there and just push every
Yeah.
boundary out my way and jump every hurdle because I'm not going to get anywhere else by shying away or not wanting to do that or not being confident enough because I'd rather try and fail then never do it, man, because I don't like that thing in the back of my head, like, oh, the what if. I'd rather never have that. I'd rather just be
Yeah.
able to go out and just go and do it and just say to myself, well, at least you did it. Even if it didn't go well, at
At
least you
least
did
you
it.
know. At least you know. At least you know. And I think that's the moral of the story. Like I got sold a nice job when I was teaching, but it expected me to enjoy it when you retire with a nice pension. And I'm like, well, what if the world like tomorrow gets invaded by aliens or like
Exactly.
friggin' I might not be here, like so give it a shot and take that leap, especially if you're someone who doesn't have and I don't mean it's like an age thing, but like when you're young, you may not have as much responsibilities and commitments as someone who's married with a mortgage with like
Yeah.
loads of children and commitments. So it's the best time to really just build on that like goal of where do you want to be? How are you going to get there? If you're a shy person, how am I going to get out of my comfort zone? It's just like
Yeah.
little steps, little small steps that add up to huge amounts of like
And
change.
it all adds up eventually, man. And I feel
Hmm.
like a lot of people don't think the little things matter, but they do. And it might be one little thing one day, but I'm telling you now that one little thing one day will get you to a place where you would never even imagine going, man. Like, and the thing is, if you're that passionate about something, I've always said there's nothing that's going to stop you. Like, I asked a question the other day to a few friends of mine. We was talking about like if you won the lottery, like what would you do? Like, and instantly, like without even thinking, I was like, oh, I'll get this camera, I'll get this lens, like. And I didn't even realize till I went away a few days later that I was like, okay, so I was just offered like all the money in the world, and I didn't think about retiring my family. I didn't think about like donations to charity or anything like that. I thought this camera, that lens, all this stuff, like because that's how I know where my passion is. And I feel like if you've got that drive in you, you will do the things that you need to do to get where you need to be. And whether that's like just pushing each little like even all the little things that you don't want to do, just pushing them a little bit further each day. I feel like you'll eventually get to a point where you'll just want to do it because you're not passionate, thinking, well, I might as well just go and do it now because I'm not going to get anywhere by not doing it. And I feel like the more you shy away from it and the more you don't do it, then the worse you'll make it for yourself. So that's the best way to do it, man. Is just to go out and just do it.
Oh
So
yeah, time is the only real currency we have. Make it
exactly, mate.
count. And before we wrap up, I'm just gonna quickly show people your website because I was really impressed by it, and
Mm,
something I'm trying to like rebrand and migrate to a new website host like Format or Squarespace. And
yeah.
you're using Squarespace right now,
Someone
and
using
it
Squarespace, yeah.
looks awesome. It looks really awesome. And part of like your would you say like that professional like relationship to have with clients, do you think it's essential to have a website? I mean,
I feel like when it comes to higher end clients, websites are a lot more of something that they want to look at because Instagram's good for work, Instagram's good for word of mouth, and a lot of people use it as
Hmm.
a marketing tool. But you got to imagine that not all social media will last forever. Like things do fall off and things do die down. Whereas if you've got something that is your own space, that is your own social media, that is your own Instagram, then if that's your main direct source of like traffic, then you're going to get most work that way because no matter what happens to everything else and you're not relying on anything else, you've got this to fall back on. Um, so I think a lot of people need to realize that you shouldn't be relying on social media to really get your
Yeah,
work.
and you might be very hesitant on sharing everything. Like I said, I've not seen all of these pictures on your Instagram, but now that I'm
Yeah,
seeing it,
exactly.
like, wow, like this one especially, oh my God, that is awesome.
Yeah.
The red accents and the braids and the back.
I don't
Wow.
think I meant to post them, so like, let's hope it
Oh, okay. I didn't, did you see that? Um, I didn't see anything. I was like, that shot. I've never seen it before. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Um, but anyway, man, like it's those little details like, the little the things that people have said about you
Yeah, the
and
little
like,
testimonials, just
they're
like that.
they're amazing, and you can just see the images in just better detail again. Like you said,
Yeah, and I feel like because
Instagram
Instagram,
compression is
especially, yeah,
heavy,
exactly. And I think with
heavy
this new camera now, it
compression.
shoots like such high quality. When I do videos, I want to post them like on an actual page. Like I want it to be on Vimeo. I want it to be looked at YouTube
Oh
because I want
yeah,
people to
Vimeo is
see
a
it in
great
full
one.
quality. And even with photos, man, like if you go on the website and you look at the photos, and you go on Instagram, you look at the photos, it adds like
It's night and
like
day
a third
difference in it.
dimension to the photo itself, man. Like it,
It's night and day difference, honestly. Like
yeah,
the
honestly,
the
like people don't
resolution is just
realize
far better,
it's
like
crazy,
100%.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's been amazing talking to you, man. I've learned
Oh
actually
man, yeah.
like so much stuff just from this podcast alone. So I'm gonna try and wrap up uh
That's it,
in
brother.
like a minute of thought of like what I've learned today. So
Fire
um
away, brother.
hybrid shooting is great because you can double your income
Yeah,
and encourages you to learn about a new dimension of like creativity, which is video, bringing your pictures to life. So if you've got a
yeah,
camera, do it. Um, you love taking authentic pictures because it's like a vulnerable, like passionate, intimate side is something you really enjoy doing, and that's like your. Is that the niche within the niche that you found yourself in?
yeah, man. I feel like it brings out that personal side of what I want to do more. Do you know what I mean? It allows me to do the things that I've always wanted to do without me knowing that I'm doing them. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like
A hundred
it just
percent.
opens up doors, I think, to my creative mind where that helps
Yeah.
me. every form of life, man. Like anything, whether it's work or if it's relationships, or I feel like anything, it just allows me to just, I don't know, have that extra bit of kick in me.
Yeah.
To
And you've
keep going.
separated yourself successfully online, and your platform and your following and the clients and the work speaks for itself. And building relationships with your personality is very important.
Very, very important.
Very important. And having a website is very important.
Very important because if Instagram goes down, baby, you ain't got no form of money. Do
Yo,
you know what I mean?
it
So
has gone down many times before.
yeah,
And I think sometimes, I'm not even joking, like sometimes I think, oh my God, like what would we do like
well,
if Instagram was just like someone just hit a delete button, like, and it's just gone. It's just gone.
like
Like
you would
imagine like
still keep
Instagram had
doing
like a
what
really
you do.
bad
Do you know what I
day.
mean? Like if, yeah,
Touch wood, they don't. But like, it, people get memed on this for like influencers. Like, where would they be if like Instagram is down?
yeah, like you ain't posting no bikini photos up in Dubai no more. Like who's
um.
really, you know what I mean?
So yeah, having a website is very important,
Yeah,
and taking uh action about changing from like something you don't like doing to what you're really passionate about. Just do it, or
yeah.
else you'll regret it later on.
Follow your heart,
Yeah.
and your heart will guide you to the right
Mm.
places. Because if your mind's in the right place, then your heart will be in the right place, and I think things are lying for the right people. And everyone is the right person. You just got to believe that you are the right person. You are worth it, man. And I don't think a lot of people have that passion or the mindset that they are worth it. But coming from someone who just started doing it because they was sat in the bedroom at 4 o'clock in the morning and thought, you know what, I'm gonna get back into it, and spent a load of money, bought a load of gear, and if it wasn't for that, I would not be anywhere near or anywhere as near happy as I am today, man. So just go and do it. I'm telling you now, if you've got a passion and you'll know the second you take that photo, or that video, you'll know. And if it's not a photo or video, if it's just some other industry and you get some kind of creative flair from it, go and do it, man. Whether that's for income, for jobs, for just for your own personal benefit, you'll benefit from it in some form of the word anyway. So yeah.
And the last point is make your surroundings work for you, even
Yeah,
if
man.
you're not in a huge city.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you're from. I'm from a little town just outside of Birmingham, and even before I went out in Birmingham, I was taking photos around. I live in a place called Wednesbury. If not many people know, it's by the big IKEA,
I
just
don't
off.
even know where that
Well, you
is.
won't do because you're a little
uh,
Manchester boy,
I
but for the
know,
local West
yeah.
Midlands
I
people,
know, I just about know where Birmingham is.
well, there you go. You'll have to come down, bro, and I'll
I
show
have
you all
been
the
to
little
Birmingham
areas, man.
before. Like,
Yeah,
honestly, when I came there, it looked incredible. As soon as you get out of the train station, and it's like all the crazy architecture and the art
yeah,
installations and like that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
huge, like, this looks
Oh man, there's some
insane.
great places to take photos, and
Yeah,
people.
people would say to me, I don't know, obviously for the ones who haven't been in Birmingham, but like I always get told like Digbeth is like a really good
Yeah,
place
Digbeth is,
to.
and it's so up and coming. There's so many things popping up now that like it's a good time to capitalize on it because I know I've took a lot of photos and without telling anyone where the locations are, all the people have found them now, and a lot of people are using the locations that I used to use. Which
Yeah,
say it's just about what it is. It's about I was with someone before and I was driving around and I was like literally looking at every single spot and I was thinking that's a good photo there or that's a good lighting spot there. And look, I would never ever had seen that as a photo location until like he brought it out. So just be more spatially aware of your surroundings
yeah.
because
Oh my
I'm
God,
telling you
that
now,
is the best advice I can like
because
think
you'll
of
just see
for
you'll see
location shooting.
opportunities that you never seen before, man. And I feel like
Yeah.
people don't really think that way, but I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
especially when I started shooting. And like I said, when I was teaching, and I was just going to Manchester on the weekends with my friends for leisure and socializing,
yeah, yeah.
I was so not spatially aware until I actually
Yeah.
started
And
doing
especially
my
when it's daytime
photography.
and you can
Yeah.
see everything way
Yeah.
more. Oh my
Yeah,
days.
100%. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people who just go into Manchester for like drinks or
Night
nights
life.
out and things like that,
Yeah.
you're really missing out on some of the amazing like locations that are there.
Oh,
And
100%. Like even the space that you took me, I would never have thought that would
yeah,
produce the
and
images that we thought, man. And
honestly, like when I was jumping into photography and I started just, looking at where I want to take pictures, I just saw like a whole new side of like
oh
the
yeah,
city
and
I
I
was
feel I
living
can see
in.
that in your work 100%, man. Like you are very very good at finding like locations
It's
that
like you said, I
work
became very
really
spatially
well,
aware
man.
because when you
Yeah.
pick up a camera, everything just comes at you like 10 times more because you're like,
I'm telling you now, you even if you just change your lens on your camera, you will get a whole different perspective
oh yeah,
on
yeah. as soon as I jumped into, because for the longest time I was shooting on my 35mm Sigma, and then I started incorporating my ultra wides, and it just changed the game.
It's brought a
Like
whole new dynamic to your work, man. And I feel,
everything is just like coming at you like 100 miles
yeah,
per hour.
like
Like
you get a
it's
whole of, and the thing is, because it's so much wider than, because I think like a 35 is quite true to what you see with your eye.
yeah, a lot of
So
people like say it's a very natural. Like it's I love that lens so much. Like I've done literally, I'd say half.
I still, I'm on the 35 mil right now. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I've
And it
done
just
most of
it's,
my success has been built on just one lens, which is
and I feel like that lens
ridiculous.
is that you can pick up that lens for like £400 on eBay sometimes, man. And
Yeah, yeah.
for the amount of work that you can get and the amount of money you could potentially make
Did
for something
studio,
as
did
cheap as that,
video,
for
did location, did
yeah,
events, did press shots, everything with that lens, and it's
absolutely
ridiculous.
everything. Yeah, but
But it's
especially
like you,
a full frame sensor as well. It's just flawless, man.
yeah, it's like you said though.
Flawless.
Like as soon as I got that ultra wide, I was like a kid in a playground because I had these frustrations with the 35, and it was like I couldn't get my models to go all out on their posing
Yeah.
because the lens just would not, like the laws of that lens just would not let me do it. Like,
No, because you're not able to, and
mm,
even if you are able to get the same kind of framing, it's not going to look the same because you're
yeah,
not got the
like I'll
same
show
spec.
you some examples, right? And this is like the easiest one I can show you. Like ultra wide, ultra wide, 35, and it's
Yeah,
like,
and you can see straight away.
and what I've done is it's really helped me think about how I split my shoots up, and now I split my shoots up into two parts, and it's lifestyle and creative shots. So
Yeah,
with every single like so I think these were all done on the ultra wides actually, but
I
with,
love those.
yeah, with, so this one like this is the 35 ultra
35 straight
wide,
away.
35. Yeah, you can tell the ones that
You
are
can
like,
tell instantly though, just from I
and
feel
it's got
like
like that premier bokeh as well, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah.
and it
I
just,
think that's why I like to shoot on primes rather than zooms. And people ask me this a lot because, especially in my video work, I will always shoot on primes. Like I would never shoot on a zoom because I like using such shallow depth of field to the point where
yeah,
you just got your eyelash in focus. Like
it's
it
mad, isn't
comes with
it?
like its negative side. It's a lot
Yeah, I've
hard to.
noticed that about the videos that we for the people, you just literally
Yeah.
just go back and watch it before. It's just like creamy bokeh
Yeah, that's the
everywhere.
thing, man. Like I got a lot of love for video, and I got a lot more stuff to bring out in terms of video. But a lot of my video will feature a lot of shallow depth of field, and I feel like bringing the subject really out of the background, man.
Yeah. Well, you're on
Which,
a whole new adventure now. You know, you found your niche
oh
in
yeah, man.
photography,
I
and
feel like
now you're gonna
yeah,
do the exact same for video. And it's like it's just another way just to keep the adventure
it's
going.
exciting,
And
man. I don't know where it's going to take me. I've got an idea of where I want it to, but like I said before, you take the avenues, and wherever you lead, it's the right path. But I'm just gonna just
I'm excited,
follow my heart,
man.
follow my head, and wherever it takes me, bro, that's where it's going to take me. So, yeah, man.
Bailey, thank you so much for coming on.
No, honestly, it is. It's been a blessing and a pleasure as always, bro. Good
And
to see you face
people
again.
can find your work in the description, and please give him a follow because he's got some mad content dropping soon, which none of you saw in this YouTube video. You know, I don't know what you're
And none of
talking
you will know
about.
for a while, but don't worry.
I
It's
don't know. I don't know that picture before. Yeah, no, none of you saw. I just pretend you've seen it
no,
again for
no,
the
no.
first time. Oops. But dude, thank you so much for coming on, man. I learned a
No, of
lot,
course.
and
Thanks for
I
having
hope, you literally keep killing it with the video stuff. And you've only just got the Sony A7S III, so we'll catch up again, like, in the near future, and just see what you've made, and that'll be just
Yeah, man. Give me a few months,
insane.
and I promise you, I'll have some work that'll, change a lot of people's opinions on me.
For sure. And I'm going to be active again on YouTube, guys, for my behind the scene vlogs. So definitely going to get Bailey on those again.
Oh,
You know, when we
100%.
both
I'm
got,
there. I'm up in your personal
yeah,
spaces,
I've
man.
got my little tripod so I can start filming now, my little YouTube videos. So we'll
100.
definitely, I'm definitely got a lot of, I think my goal this year, like you were talking about, with the passion, like I really want to be a lot more passionate about sharing the experience with the audience
Yeah,
because
man.
I
I feel
get,
like it's a good way to get people
yeah, and
involved.
it like you've got so much content you take on a shoot, and it's just sitting there, and it's like, well, it'd be
Yeah,
nice
man.
just to show
100%.
people the rest,
100%,
Why
bro.
lock it away on a hard drive to just never see
Yeah,
again?
mine just tucked away in some cupboard somewhere that'll be probably brought out years later. Yeah.
100%, for sure, dude. Thank you so much, and
Oh, always.
I'll see you again soon, man.
Yeah, take care, bro. And I'll see you
Take it easy,
soon.
bro.
Peace.
Bye. Thanks for checking out this episode of Timeout. Don't forget to support each guest by checking out their work in the description. And you can also support the show with a like, subscribe, and hitting that notification bell. Till then, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one.